All right, strap in, because today we're diving headfirst into human proxies. And let me tell you, this is some next-level stuff when it comes to digital privacy.
Yeah, what Uni Nurf did in their book about human proxies is really interesting. It's like we think we know proxies, right? VPNs, hiding your IP address, all that. But this, human proxies for messaging, that's a whole different beast.
Totally. I mean, I use a VPN, sure, but having an actual person be a proxy for my messages, it's like something straight out of a spy movie.
Right. It sounds crazy, but it's actually happening. There's this app, Spot On. Imagine sending a message, but instead of it coming from you, it looks like your friend sent it.
Whoa, okay, my mind is a little blown. So like on this Spot On app, I choose someone in my contacts, say my best friend, and they'd be my, what did Uni Nurf call it? My human proxy.
Exactly. It's like, think about a sealed letter, right? And instead of mailing it yourself, you ask your friend to drop it off. Same contents, but the return address. That's your friend's, not yours.
Okay, I'm with you. Sneaking messages into the digital age, I like it. So Uni Nurf mentioned something called the Echo Protocol. This is where it gets really technical, right?
The Echo Protocol is where Spot On gets seriously clever. See, most apps just send messages the regular way, point A to point B. But the Echo Protocol, way more intricate.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. How does it actually work?
Imagine you're standing in a canyon, right? A huge canyon. And you shout. What happens? Your voice, it bounces off the walls, echoes everywhere. The Echo Protocol is similar, but instead of sound waves, it's your encrypted message echoing across the entire Spot On network.
Hold on. So you're saying my message is bouncing between other people's phones. Couldn't anyone on Spot On just, like, intercept it?
That's where the encryption comes in.
Yeah.
Think of each Spot On user like a point in the canyon. When your message echoes past them, their device tries to unlock it with their own unique keys. If they have the right key, boom, message opens. But if they don't, it just keeps echoing, totally unreadable.
So it's like trying every key on a giant keychain until you find the one that opens that specific message lock.
You got it. And to keep things from getting jammed up, Spot On has something called congestion control. Basically, once a device tries to unlock a message, it won't try again. Keeps everything flowing smoothly.
Clever. Okay, this echo protocol is wild, but I have to ask, with all this echoing going on, how does having a human proxy actually change end-to-end encryption?
It's a game changer. Think of normal end-to-end encryption like a straight line, person A to person Z, right? With a human proxy, it becomes A to B to Z. So your person A, you write a message for person Z, but instead of it going directly to Z, it goes to your human proxy, person B, first.
And person B, my trusty friend, forwards it on to person Z.
Exactly. But, and this is key, the message stays encrypted the whole time, just like regular end-to-end encryption. However, to anyone watching, it looks like person B sent it.
Wait, so if someone's trying to track messages on Spot On, all they see is the human proxy, not the original sender. Isn't that like revolutionary?
You said it. Uni Nurf calls it NB to NZ encryption, a whole new approach to digital privacy. Think of it as an extra layer of camouflage on your messages. Even if someone intercepts it, they can't definitively say you sent it.
Okay, this is huge. No wonder folks are saying this could be a game changer for journalists, activists, anyone who needs to communicate sensitive information safely. Wow. Echoing messages, secret keys, friends as digital disguises. My head's spinning.
And it gets even more mind-bending when you think about the relationship between the sender and their human proxy. It's like, imagine someone got their hands on every single key for Spot On.
Impossible, right? But even then, even if they did, figuring out who sent what would be almost impossible because of something Uni Nurf calls trepidation of relationship.
Trepidation of relationship. Okay, that sounds kind of ominous. What does that even mean? So it builds on this idea of trepidation of memory, which basically says even if you could collect every key in the network, linking them to the right people over time, that'd be crazy difficult. Like, did you lend someone your house key 5 years ago and totally forgot about it? Digital keys, kind of like that.
So it's like trying to remember every single person you ever swapped keys with.
You got it. Now add the human proxies to that. Investigators would need to know not just who's connected now, but the entire history of every connection, every key exchange on Spot On, just to even start tracing a message.
Because any of those past connections could have been the human proxy, even if they haven't talked to the original sender in years, right?
Precisely. It's a puzzle with like a million pieces. Makes it basically impossible to definitively say, this message came from this person. Especially since someone could have been a human proxy years ago, no way to prove it.
Man, this is wild, like digital smoke and mirrors. So if someone did intercept a message on Spot On, There's really no way to prove who actually sent it.
That's the point. Plausible deniability. Even if a message is intercepted, you can't definitively say who initiated it. Might have suspicions, sure, but prove it. Good luck.
I bet that has some government agencies sweating, huh?
Mhm.
They're used to tracking this stuff, but human proxies seem like they throw a real wrench in the works.
You could say that. Uni Nurf believes this adds a whole new level of protection against mass surveillance, which is, let's face it, everywhere these days. Our digital footprints are everywhere but this. This changes things.
It's like we're going back to a time before texts, before emails, where you had to physically hand off a message to someone, making it nearly impossible to track. Except instead of messengers on horseback, it's our phones. The same tech that's made surveillance so easy is now being used to protect us.
It's a fascinating paradox. Uni Nurf even compares it to the offline world. Think about it. Political proxies act on behalf of others all the time. Or even like charitable donations, where the giver wants to stay anonymous. Human proxies tap into that same idea, but digitally.
So it's like digital philanthropy. Instead of donating money, people are using their devices to protect the identities and messages of others.
That's one way to look at it. And it really makes you question this whole idea of digital identity and responsibility. If anyone can be a proxy, where does that leave us?
Huge question. It's not just about strong encryption anymore. It's about trust. Building a network of trust around these messages, using human relationships to create a new kind of online privacy.
And it brings a human element back into the digital world, which can feel so impersonal sometimes. It's not just bits and bytes, it's people looking out for each other.
It really is mind-blowing. And I love how Uni Nurf, in their book, they don't shy away from the big questions. It's like they're challenging us to think about freedom of expression, about protecting whistleblowers, anyone whose voice might be silenced in a world where we're constantly being watched.
Absolutely. It flips the script on this idea that everything we do online has to be directly linked back to us, that it leaves a trail. Human proxies introduce uncertainty, a blur in the system that we haven't really seen before.
It makes you wonder, in a world where anyone can be a proxy, what does it even mean to send a message anymore? How does that change how we understand online communication?
And here's where it gets really wild. Uni Nurf doesn't stop at just one layer of proxies. They introduce this concept of proxying proxy data, basically creating a whole chain of proxies, each one adding another layer of obfuscation.
Wait, so you're saying my human proxy could have their own human proxy and so on, like a chain of secret digital handshakes.
Exactly. Uni Nurf uses this great analogy of inner envelopes. Each proxy is like adding another layer of encryption, another envelope. Like peeling an onion, every layer just reveals another layer, making it practically impossible to trace back to the origin.
Wow. A digital maze designed to confuse anyone snooping around. But wouldn't that slow things down? With all those layers, how would messages even get through?
That's where the design of the Echo protocol and Spot-on's network is so brilliant. Remember, we're not physically handing off messages here. It all happens digitally, echoing across the network, decrypting only for the intended recipient.
So even with multiple proxies, I could theoretically send a message just as fast as I do now.
Theoretically, yeah. Like with any new tech, there are going to be bumps in the road. Uni Nurf acknowledges that. But their vision, this kind of proxying could be used for everything. Not just messages, but files, photos, even our online activity.
It's like we're talking about a whole new way of thinking about digital privacy. Moving away from just building stronger walls to building a system that's more fluid, more adaptable.
Exactly. One that's built on trust, on anonymity, on the power of human connection. Makes you rethink how we interact in the digital world, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like we're on the edge of something massive here, something that could fundamentally change how we communicate online. But it also comes with a whole new set of questions, right?
Yeah.
Like if anyone can be a proxy, how do we define responsibility? How do our digital identities even work in that kind of world?
Those are the questions Uni Nurf wants us to grapple with.
It's like we've entered a whole new dimension of what digital privacy even is.
And the best part is Uni Nurf says this is just the beginning. They see human proxies as the foundation for something even bigger.
Bigger than changing how we think about online messages. Now I'm really intrigued.
They talk about this idea of interoperability in encrypted communication. It's like, imagine a world where you can send a secure message to anyone, no matter what app they use.
Wait, so I wouldn't have to convince all my friends to switch to whatever messaging app I'm using. We could all just communicate securely, no matter what.
That's the dream. Uni Nurf points out how frustrating it is that right now, so many platforms are like, you have to stay in our little walled garden.
Yeah.
It limits our choices, makes it harder to have secure conversations across different services.
Ugh, yes. I can never get everyone on the same page with messaging apps. Someone's always on that one app that's less secure, or, they're just used to something else and they don't want to switch. It's a mess.
Exactly. It shouldn't have to be like this. And spot on with the Echo protocol, this whole human proxy thing, it's proving that we can do things differently. Imagine encrypted data just flowing seamlessly between platforms and devices. Doesn't matter what app you're using.
That would be incredible. Like a universal translator for all of our messages.
Yeah.
No more digital language barriers.
Right. It's ambitious, for sure. But Uni Nurf's point is that this is what needs to happen if we're serious about online privacy. It's about breaking free from these tech giants who want to control everything we do online and, instead empowering people to choose the tools that work for them. No more compromising on security.
So human proxies are like the first step toward that, a way to start breaking down these walls that are keeping us separated online.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's like a proof of concept showing us what's possible when you combine cutting-edge tech with human connection. And more importantly, it makes us think outside the box. What do we know about online communication?
My mind is officially blown. We've gone from digital proxies to echoing messages, from friends as secret messengers to basically rethinking the entire internet as a place where communication can be truly free and secure.
It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
It really has. And on that note, I think it's time for us to log off for today. This has been an amazing deep dive into the world of human proxies. A big thank you to the book from Uni Nurf for taking us on such a fascinating journey.
Absolutely. This is a topic we'll be keeping our eyes on. Can't wait to see where it goes from here.
And if you're listening and you're as fascinated by all of this as we are, we highly recommend checking out Uni Nurf's book for yourself. It's a wild ride, and it'll definitely get you thinking about digital privacy in a whole new way. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, sometimes the most secure message is the one that looks like it came from someone else entirely.